What's up guys, my name is Dean aka The Blue Crusader and welcome back to the channel. We all love the Elder Scrolls, we all love Skyrim, its wonderful captivating story as well. Well, if you're wondering what is in store for the next Elder Scrolls title, Elder Scrolls 6, you're at the right place to join in with the speculation. In today's top 10 video, we'll be taking a look into the top 10 Elder Scrolls 6 rumours, theories and speculation, both plausible and implausible. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 10. Bigger map. Skyrim gave us a huge map to traverse and explore, not to mention the official DLC Dragonborn giving us Solstheim and the fan DLCs of Falskar and Moonpath to Elsewhere giving us brand new areas to explore also. But what if the new game has an even bigger world? Skyrim does have a big world, let's not kid ourselves, but there's definitely potential for an even bigger world, especially with loading times and splitting the map through teleports or different zones. It would really depend on which continent it would be set in, as the dimensions of the map itself would determine whether it would be bigger than Skyrim, as these constraints would have to be in huge focus. But I will lend this theory to you. Let me know in the comments below, do you think the map will be bigger or smaller, and why? Number 9. A new game engine. Elder Scrolls Skyrim was on the Creation Engine, not to be confused with the popular Creation Kit SDK available to all modders alike, which is why we all see great content coming from TES and keeping it alive because of the Creation Kit. Although the Creation Kit engine supported Skyrim, the older engine used for some of the other past Elder Scrolls games was mostly the use of the engine Gamebryo, which supported games such as Morrowind, Oblivion and Fallout 3. It did take many years though for Bethesda to make a new engine to cater to their franchise, but the Gamebryo engine was the foundation for many games we love. Does this mean that Bethesda will prepare for future tech and releases by producing a new engine? Personally, I think they will develop the Creation Engine further, as it's still new tech and Gamebryo was used for so many years, but in this case, the Creation Engine is their own engine, so only time will tell. Number 8. Vampire Invasion Story. Now this is an interesting theory with the DLC of Dawnguard, in which you can play as a powerful vampire lord or a hunter of those that lurk in the night as a Dawnguard. There was huge success. This was my favourite of the DLC from Skyrim and I loved picking a different side on each of my saves. I loved hunting the vampires and also being one, and the mods of the game to expand these features made it ever more replayable. This theory focuses on the empirical influence wavering due to them having a weaker influence towards Skyrim's end, especially after the Dragonborn takes out the Emperor, adding more influence to the events that will come. In this theory, it would seem that it will focus on fighting against an invasion from the Akaviri, as judged on various Morrowind dialogues to fuel the rumour. There are lines from an NPC called Priest Loros Serrano in Uldren Temple that are said to predict such events in TES 6. Now these aren't your typical vampires you see in Skyrim for an example, as I'm sure we will still see those due to how popular they are, but the Akaviri are a race of humanoids that died out from that continent of Akavir. The men died out a long time ago, said to be eaten by the Taishi, a race of vampiric serpent people, or that they are actually the Seishi themselves. The theory lends to the idea that the Akaviri are planning on an invasion and that they're waiting for the Empire's influence to collapse during a civil war or another crisis. Well, Skyrim did exactly that, so how long will it be until these words see some truth? We can only live in hope and wait to see what Bethesda brings us. Number 7. Thalmor Story Arc Focus. Will the Elder Scrolls 6 be a sequel of sorts to the Thalmor story arc we got in Skyrim? Furthermore, will the game heavily focus on the Thalmor and the Aldmeri Dominion of the Altmer? The Aldmeri Dominion is the third dominion of the Altmer and is actually a faction in the TES online game. In order to gain power in the likeness of the first dominion, the Thalmor seek to start the Great War. In the present timeline, the Dominion holds control of Valenwood, Somerset Isle, Elsewhere and Hammerfell. At the end of the Great War, the treaty formed gave Hammerfell to the Thalmor and put a ban on Talos worshippers within the Empire's regions. If you've played the storyline of Skyrim, you would see the aftershock of these events, as the Talos ban was an incentive for Ulfric's rebellion against the Empire and the Emperor. Number 6. Is it a prequel? Prequel, more importantly the pre part of the word, basically means it's set before, which begs to question, is Elder Scrolls 6 going to be set in the past rather than the future in the story timeline? It's been a regular occurrence that each Elder Scrolls game has been set some few hundred years in the future, or each title after it. What if it goes back to the past? A prequel does not always set itself before a story, but can also be a carry-on of previous or existing work. For an example, some people believe TES 6 could be a continuation of some previous works such as Skyrim. The only basis to this theory is that the less time would be taken to construct a brand new world, as they would be reusing assets used in Skyrim in a prequel, or covering the same world in a different time period. It would be for faster development and access to pre-existing assets. It could be that they would release a prequel due to waiting for new technology for their engine or next-gen consoles to release the bigger title, although I think the game will be in a brand new setting personally, but it will take longer to develop. Number 5. Next-gen game. At Bethesda waiting for brand new tech to develop the game, it's no surprise to me that Skyrim looks great to this day, and if you don't like the dull style to the game, I mean in a good way, you can get various ENB mods or great graphical enhancements to make it look even better, or you can get the Skyrim Special Edition. Bethesda always wants to impress, and they can't let down the fans of their flagship franchise, The Elder Scrolls, so what if they're waiting for the next gen consoles to come out before release? I don't know how much longer of a shelf life the PS4 and Xbox One have, but I'm sure Bethesda will still cater to releases on these two, since I'm pretty sure we saw an Xbox 360 and Xbox One release of Skyrim, and you must have seen how many consoles they've released Skyrim on by this point. Number 4. Multiplayer support. Now this next point is perhaps controversial. With the initial uproar and dismay about Fallout 76, it would seem unrealistic for Bethesda to make the same feature available in TES 6. First of all, The Elder Scrolls is not a multiplayer title. If you want to play it multiplayer, then ZeniMax's Elder Scrolls Online is the only experience available. I think if they added online to the game, it would detract players from the Elder Scrolls Online product, and there hasn't really been a main Elder Scrolls game with next gen tech available for multiplayer. It just hasn't been part of the franchise at this point. Fallout 76 was a multiplayer only game, or at least that was the core of the design, so I don't believe TES 6, a single player franchise title, would make use of multiplayer technology, although never say never, since the Skyrim Together multiplayer mod has seen great feedback and responses. Bethesda might want a piece of the pie if done well. Number 3. Game features. So what features will TES 6 have? With the success of the DLC of Skyrim, the DLC Hearthfire, would it be smart to presume that we'll have some home building implemented into the vanilla game in a similar fashion? Skyrim was perhaps the best Elder Scrolls game to date, with the most bountiful features ever added in the game in that series. My expectations are so high based upon both Skyrim and its DLC that I'm hoping these features will be both carried across into the other game as well. Home building was an awesome feature that opened up additional side quest lines in which a player could get a contract to land in a certain hold. In additional side quests, it would allow you to own and build upon this land, get married and make a house. It was a great system, and it made the game ever so more immersive. The next is VR implementation. With the rise of virtual reality, it seems that a lot of popular franchises, Valve included, are trying to tap into the VR market. It wouldn't be a surprise to see Bethesda dip their feet in the water of the VR world. I mean, they've released Skyrim on practically every platform possible at this point. It would make sense for them to wait for more developed technology in the form of devices or engines to be designed before releasing this technology, and perhaps it would not be deployed on release. But full support of VR, allowing you to feel like you're in the game, would be an otherworldly experience in this franchise. Number 2. Game location and setting. So the setting. Let's dive straight in. Everyone has thought for a while that the game will be set in the location of Hammerfell, mainly because the trailer is the only thing for us to really go off right now when theorising on this. First of all, the appearance of the land in the trailer is dry and rocky turf, which indicates to us that it's the location that's possibly in a mountainous region. Now the region looks a lot more greener than parts of Skyrim, and it makes sense for them to cover a different area of the world, especially since every single Elder Scrolls game has a different setting in Tamriel, and Skyrim has already been covered. There's a style of ruined buildings, rocky regions, but with green shrubbery and foliage scattered throughout. On the top of the mountain, it appears to be a ruined fortress of some sorts with bodies of water. To narrow it down, we need to find a climate that is dry and has a mix of rocky land and green land to it. First, we need to exclude any of the continents we've already covered recently. It seems the location of Elder Scrolls 6 will give us coastal cities and regions, so it would be a huge surprise for Cyrodiil or some other coastal region to be recovered. The following cities, Faerun, Camlorn, Daggerfall in High Rock and Northpoint, all have a possibility of being used in this circumstance. Also a few others to mention are Soulrest in the Black Marsh, Archon, Senkol in Elsewhere, Falinesti, Southpoint, Woodhearth, Valen Woods, Greenheart, Sentinel and Teneth in Hammerfall. If you want me to cover an actual in-depth video on why each setting is possible and which is the final setting, then let me know in the comments below, as it needs its own video and there's a lot of content to this theory. I do have one on my channel you can watch, but it was released around the time of the teaser, so I think it warrants a new updated video. Number 1. Release date. With the announcement trailer we got last year for The Elder Scrolls 6, I'm sure most of us here are waiting around patiently to find out the release date of the brand new game. It would seem the release date is still pretty far away, in the sense that Bethesda has not even yet contacted their composer, Jeremy Soule, about creating an amazing soundtrack for the game. It would seem that the game probably won't come in 2019 due to the logistics of everything and how long it takes to make an Elder Scrolls title. Additionally, we also don't know which point in the development timeline they're at right now, or at which point they were upon the announcement. I think a more reasonable estimation for a release date would be 2020 or at the latest 2021. Let me know which of these theories or rumours your favourite are, and if you think any of them have any substance or truth to them. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you disagree with any of the theories or rumours in it, definitely let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see more top 10 videos like this and daily gaming and fun videos though, subscribe to the channel for more so you don't miss out. Be sure to join the giveaway of the month. We're giving away a Steam game every single month, and this month is the LEGO Hobbit, so if that actually interests you, then check the link in the comments and the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.